next level, I need to know what has happened to me. Because life in this realm is your ability to know the movements of the Spirit on your inside. You know, when we talk power in our generation, it has been reduced to psychology. There is a depth in God you will journey to. You will become a God in the realm of demons. And when you see sick people, the moment you come, they know. They say, Jesus we know, Paul we know. It's not psychology. You enter, as you enter a place, demons on their own will recognize where you are coming from. But you see, because we lack power, we can't do anything that has to do with divine agenda. It's psychology. How many people can you manipulate? How many people? Even if you succeed in manipulating people in your locality, it's your ministry to your locality alone. What do you now do when you interact with people of different culture? Your ministry will end. The only thing that defies every contrary force is power. Let me do a teaching. If I continue like this, I may. Luke chapter 14 verse 23. Jaffa wants me to talk on the compelling power. So let's calm down. 5 minutes to the end of the meeting. He said, and the Lord said unto the servant. Now Jesus was telling them a parable. He had prepared a banquet. And then he had invited the nobles. But you see, the nobles failed to come. See, that's what happens when the move of God begins. When the move of God begins, most times, some people think they are qualified. They know the atmosphere. They know the doctrine. They know the exegesis. So they sit down as the nobles. So they cannot interpret the strange things that God is doing. They want to judge spiritual occurrences from their mind, and it disqualifies them. When Jesus invited the nobles, they refused to show up. Did you not read in scriptures? The Sanhedrin had been watching the prophecy of Isaiah for 800 years. But when Jesus came, they did not see him. They were disqualified. They are the nobles. They refused to show up. They gave flimsy excuses. And Jesus now said, okay, since the nobles can't come, go to the street. And then they invited people from the street. Yet there was still room. Because the move of God is bogus enough to accommodate every one of us. In the day of the move of God, there's no room for jealousy. Because the usher will raise the dead. The pastor will be talking. The guy at the door will raise cripples. And it's not a strange thing. Everybody becomes a carrier of Jesus Christ in ever increasing intensity. So there was room. And because of the excess room that was available, he now said, go into the highway and compel them to come into the banquet. The word is anakazo. It is a kind of power that defies cultural difference. It's a kind of power that undermines intellectual prowess. It's a dimension of power that have no regard for age difference. So you may see a boy of 15 years, and when an akazo comes upon him, he will come to the street corner and he will cry. And even the elder and the young, regardless of demographic, will journey there. He said when God came upon John, he didn't go to the synagogue. If he went to the synagogue, naturally he will meet people that fear God. He went into the wilderness, and right there in the wilderness, all he did was cry. And suddenly he said the whole of Jerusalem and Judea went to him.